Hey guys, thanks for joining. How's everybody doing? I'm really excited. We're going to be unboxing the summer box today. I know a lot of you guys have been anxiously waiting for us to unbox this and tell you a little bit about what's been going on behind the scenes, so I'm so happy that you can join us. I know a lot of people are popping on. Hi, thanks for joining everyone. I'm going to be unboxing our summer 2021 Dermy Doc box today. That is everything in all of its glory. So if you have yours, feel free to pull out your products and we can kind of walk through everything together. I also want to make sure that I answer all of your questions. If you guys have any specific questions about any of the products, how they work or how to use them, this is the time to pop those into the chat and we can get to all of those hopefully. So there's a box. I'm going to put it to the side here and we'll go through everything. When we were curating this box, one of the things, when we started Dermy Doc Box, one of the things I kept saying is I cannot wait for a summer box, because from the very, very beginning, you guys were telling me that you are excited to see some sunscreen pics, and we saved those until this box just because we wanted to make it really sun protection heavy and be able to offer a bunch of stuff. But as all of you know, if you follow me, sunscreen and sun protection is year-round. So even though we're kind of focusing on that for the summer box, hopefully these sunscreens also provide you coverage for the rest of the year to go. And you find some new favorites that you'll be able to use all the time, every day, no matter the weather. All right, so hi, I see you guys waving. Thank you for waving. All right, we are gonna start with the first thing always is the pamphlet. You will get this in every single box, and this is, of all the things that go into the box, I think the pamphlet is probably the most underrated but most important and the thing I spend the most time on. And that's because I want to make sure I give you as much information as possible so that you know what you're getting, how to use it, and also importantly, you get discount codes so that if you love something, you can buy it again. So on inside, this is where you'll get a sneak peek of all the products, their retail value, information about the ingredients inside, how to use them, as well as my personal tip about each product. As you guys know, when I use and put these products in the box, these are stuff that I've used, personally tried, so I want to be able to do that and give you guys good tips along the way so that when you're using it, you know how to use it like a pro. The last thing in here is that discount code at the bottom of each one of these products so that if you do find something you love, you can repurchase it. So that's the pamphlet. And then the other thing we always do is we give you a Science of Skincare card. So this card in specific is all about sunscreen. So obviously, I mean, the whole box is about sunscreen, but I wanted to make sure I had an opportunity to really put a bunch of information in one place for you to refer to. One of the reasons why I think this is important, and we're gonna get a little serious here, is because the internet right now is filled with a ton of information about sunscreens. Some stuff is honestly scary. If you're a mom or if you're trying to be super healthy, you read these things, you watch these videos or these viral TikToks and you wonder, what am I putting onto my skin? Is this safe? What do I need to be looking for? So the goal of this Science of Skincare card is just to really help break things down for you guys, help give you information that's accurate. And one of the other things that was really important to me is to kind of dismiss a lot of this fear mongering that revolves around the use of sunscreen. Because facts are facts, and we know that skin cancer is the most common cancer in the US. There is nothing more common than skin cancer. 1 in 5 Americans will get skin cancer. 20 people every day die from melanoma. Just this week alone, I've had to deliver horrible news to patients about melanoma. So until that stops happening, I don't think you're gonna find any dermatologist who's not going to be passionate about such a preventable thing. And the #1 way to prevent skin cancer is sun protection. So that's me on my soapbox, and you can kind of read more about that on here. One of the things I thought we would also discuss a little bit about is chemical versus mineral sunscreens. And I think that, you know, kind of both have their advantages, although I do feel like a lot of people are very dismissive about chemical sunscreens as a whole. And if that's you, say you are truly passionate about wearing a mineral sunscreen, great. But if you don't have a preference of one over the other and you find a sunscreen that works for you and it's a chemical sunscreen, great as well. One of the things that I think is really funny is chemical sunscreens are also referred to as organic sunscreens. And I think people kind of pause when they hear that, but that's because they're carbon-based. And so it's really an oxymoron in a lot of people's heads, but that's not the case for scientists, cosmetic chemists, dermatologists. So that is kind of what is broken down here. Something I do stress for my patients personally is that you should wear a mineral sunscreen if you are a kid. So for your children, choosing a mineral sunscreen I think is important because it can prevent irritation. We also understand more about mineral sunscreens at this time. There's tons of research still to be done, but it's my preference to choose mineral sunscreens for children specifically. Also, if you're somebody who tends to break out or get irritation or feels like sunscreen makes their face itchy or gives you a bunch of little red bumps, then yeah, you may want to go a mineral sunscreen route. You might find that better for your face. But other than that, this kind of tells you a little bit of everything on there. The other thing I was going to mention is that we did put up a video on our feed showing me applying one of the sunscreens, and a lot of you were surprised at how much I was applying. So for your face, you want to use 1/4 teaspoon, although I did bring our measuring cup into the bathroom to record that video. I don't think you have to do that. You want to aim for like a nickel to quarter size dollop of sunscreen. So it's always a little more than what you would expect. And that's in order to get the coverage that the sunscreen says on your bottle. So if you apply less, it doesn't mean it's not going to give you coverage or protection from the sun. It just won't be at that SPF value. And what does SPF value mean? That's a sun protective factor. It's a measure of how well your sunscreen protects against UVB radiation. So if you have an SPF of 30, supposedly, if you apply the right amount of sunscreen, you protect yourself against 97% of UV rays. As you can tell, the SPF of 50 goes to 98, but nothing ever hits 100%. And even if you apply perfectly, you're not going to protect against 100%. So you can imagine if you apply less than what's recommended, then you're getting even less than that. So that's why we always kind of preach about applying a little more than you think is right, or why we tell people the SPF in your makeup is probably not enough because you're probably not going to apply that amount. I think sunscreen can be super confusing, but hopefully this box has kind of helped you simplify that process. And if anything, I just hope that you find one in here that you absolutely love. If you love all three, great. But if you love one, then I feel like I've accomplished something and it can get you to wear a sunscreen daily. I will be so happy. All right, so enough about that. Let's dive into the products. And I think instead of starting with a sunscreen, we'll start with this guy. This is our Universal Protection Drops from Cellular Md. This is what the bottle looks like. Super fancy bottle, right? This retails for $125. And this brand I was really excited about. Let me know if you've tried it in the comments below. I'm gonna kind of try to catch up here with these comments and what you think. But this brand was really intriguing to me because it is developed by a dermatologist, Dr. Ronald Moy. He is also a skin cancer surgeon. So you might hear some people referring to Mohs surgery. That is a specific type of skin cancer surgery that requires training beyond your dermatology residency, although we do train in dermatology for it. He literally helps people with skin cancer all day. So he developed this line based on his research on DNA repair enzymes. And I know this is a lot of science, so I don't want to be too scientific here, but to basically simplify it, DNA repair enzymes are used, as the name sounds, to repair DNA. So continuous UV exposure on our skin results in something called cyclobutane pyrimidine dimers. These are basically mutations in our DNA. When they accumulate, then we start to develop tumors, and those tumors are skin cancers. That's a very simplified way of explaining how the sun basically causes cancer. Well, DNA repair enzymes in these peer-reviewed studies have been shown to repair those cyclobutane pyrimidine dimers and reduce them in the skin, basically reducing your risk of skin cancer. So this is not meant to be a sunscreen alone. It's meant to be an additive to your sun protection. But this is also an amazing product for people who tell me, gosh, I wish I started sun protection sooner in life. I really wish that I took this seriously sooner because now I have all this damage and I can't do anything about it. Not true. You can absolutely start wearing sunscreen daily and you'll see a difference. But products like this with DNA repair enzymes will literally reverse that damage, which is so cool. So this product, I'm gonna show you what it looks like. It's kind of like a gel. So it's not like super serum-y. It's really kind of a thicker gel. So you wanna take 2 drops, and their way of using it is to mix it with your sunscreen or apply it as a last step onto your skin after you've done your skincare routine. You can also use this after you've cleansed your face, and I know a lot of you reached out to me asking that because it also contains vitamin C, so it can be used as your vitamin C serum as well. Or you can use it as your last step. Just use it because it's really good. I know it's super expensive, so we did reach out to them and say, hey, if we love it, if our subscribers love it, we want them to be able to repurchase it. So they did provide a really nice discount, which is in your pamphlet. So it's at the bottom there, and it's for 20% off. They do have some other really cool products on their website too, if you check them out. This is Cellular Md by Dr. Ronald Moy. He's also the vice president of the Skin Cancer Foundation. So like a very legit guy. I'm hoping to get him on here so we can chat with him soon, but he's very busy. Okay, so those were the Universal Protection Drops. Let's see. I'm gonna go with this one next. This is the Olay Mineral Sunscreen. It's called Olay Regenerist. It's SPF 30. This contains zinc oxide. So I wanted to pick this because Olay, first of all, is like a very big household staple for a lot of people. A lot of people grew up with their moms or their grandmas talking about Olay, and that Olay is an amazing line. And you know, lots of people will tell me like, oh, my mom, all she does is use oil of Olay and she loves it, and that's why her skin looks amazing. I love Olay, and this sunscreen, very impressed with the formulation. So I'm gonna show you. One of the things that people don't really explain well is that when you're talking about mineral and chemical sunscreens, mineral sunscreens are the ones that tend to leave a white cast. If somebody tells you a chemical sunscreen doesn't leave a white cast, you can tell them, duh, we know. It's a chemical sunscreen. It rubs into the skin very easily. That's just how it's formulated. We don't expect it to leave a white cast. Mineral sunscreens are a little more difficult to formulate because they're bigger compounds and they can look kind of thick onto the skin. So when you find a mineral sunscreen that doesn't leave a white cast, that's what makes it really impressive. So I'm gonna pump this onto my skin to show you. It comes out white. And even if you'll see in that video that I posted, when you first apply it, you're like, oh gosh, this is gonna be really thick and leave a cast. It does not, especially after you rub it in, and then especially if you wait like 15 seconds, it just vanishes. And I think a lot of people are always surprised when they try this product because you first put it on your skin and you think you are gonna hate it, and then you actually rub it in and give it a chance and you're like, yeah, this is pretty awesome. So it also contains vitamin B3 peptides. So as you know, if you follow me on my page and you've read a little bit about peptides, those can be very anti-aging. All around, just an amazing product. So let me know if you've tried this one and if you like it. Someone is asking, is the summer box still available to buy? Yes, so the summer box is still available on our website. You can either subscribe at $49.99, so you'll get a box every season, or if you want to do a one-time purchase, it's $10 more. You can gift it that way, or if you just want to like try a box one time and not subscribe, you can do that too, no pressure. All right, so that was Olay. Let's go to Mele. So this is Mele, and I think a lot of you guys have maybe spotted this brand recently. It's in Target. But Mele is this brand, it'll say right here, the science of melanin-rich skin. This is their no shade sunscreen oil. So I wanted to include this product, which is a chemical sunscreen, to give you an oil option because I feel like oils are like all the rage right now and everyone is just loving oils. So oils can be great, but an oil sunscreen to me just sounds even better. And the nice thing is you get that glow of the oil, but you're not necessarily glowing because you've done a ton of tanning and your skin is damaged. This is a safe way to look nice and glowy. The bottle is super pretty. It is glass, and when you twist it, it pops up like this. So when you pump that, it fills the beautiful little dropper, and then this is what the oil looks like. So it's literally an oil. Put it on my skin, and it gives a really nice shine, but then it dries really pretty and just like a nice kind of shimmery finish. So you can even wear this without makeup if you're just like trying to, you're on the go. You can even put it like on your shoulders or your chest or your neck. Some people have told me they liked using it that way. Mele, this brand, is actually co-created with dermatologists of color. So some of my really good dermatology friends, Dr. Mona Gohara, Dr. Diane Davis, Dr. Laura Scott, they all sat on the advisory board for Mele, and so they were there to test all the products and make sure that these were products that were created for people with melanin-rich skin. Of course, anyone can use them, but I do love that inclusivity and the thoughtfulness of this line. You can find this line at Target, and it is a really cool line. So this is the oil. As you can see, it gives a little bit of that shimmer there. So hopefully you guys have been liking that one. And I see a few comments saying so. Okay, let's go to the next sunscreen. So we put 3 in this box with the hope that there are 3 different types of sunscreen. So hopefully one of them you absolutely love, but I think a lot of you are liking more than one. This is CoTZ. So CoTZ stands for Contains Only Titanium and Zinc. So I thought that was really cute. I really like that, the name of the line. So this is their Vanishing Zinc Oxide Mineral Sunscreen. And I think this is a really big crowd favorite. Again, it's a mineral sunscreen. So remember, you just learned that mineral sunscreens are the sunscreens that can be a little more difficult to formulate without a white cast. And I think this one achieves it really nicely. Lots of people are always concerned with a tinted sunscreen. Is it going to be for my shade or my tint of skin? Well, this one vanishes on every single skin type. I don't know what sorcery is in this bottle, but it just works on everyone's skin so nicely. This can be worn alone. It wears really well under makeup. It does not pill. It's super hydrating. Like, this is a good sunscreen. So hopefully you guys have thought so too. I see some love it comments. So yeah, when you first dispense it, you're like, oh, it kind of has this tint to it. I don't know if it's gonna blend into my skin. It blends into everyone's skin type. So I'm gonna just rub this out and give it a few seconds. I'm kind of putting it over the oil, so I'm getting double shine. But it just disappears. It just vanishes. And it's not really like a thick makeup, so it's not gonna be like coverage if you're looking for that. But I just feel like because it blends into everyone's skin type, and mineral sunscreens tend to be a little easier for people who have more like acne or rosacea prone skin, I just love that this is an option, especially for skin of color too. Not having that white cast, this is pretty incredible. I see my new favorite. It melts so beautifully. I'm fair skinned and sensitive. It's perfect. I love that. So that is CoTZ, which contains only titanium and zinc. Okay. Oh, also I forgot to mention, I love seeing how you guys love these little peanut products. These are our biodegradable starch-based packing peanuts. They're in little hearts, and we love them because another thing, that I didn't realize before we started this box was how much waste one company can accumulate. And even though we're like this little tiny company in the speck of the grand scheme of things, when I started to really see that, I realized that I had to try and do something from my end that I could to control what sort of waste we are giving to the world. So one of the ways we did that is we changed out our packing peanuts. These are starch-based, completely biodegradable. You can throw them away. They're going to disintegrate. You can flush them down the toilet or in the water or play with them with your kids. They will go away. Our box is recyclable, but we're actually also working to do something a little extra with the box too. So hopefully if that works out, we can share that with you. And yeah, I just feel like these are little steps, and I know that it's not like we're saving the planet, but I do feel like if I can make those small differences, I would like to. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying these. I see a question, how often should sunscreen be reapplied? All right, let's get real here, because you're gonna hear all over, and even on the pamphlet, you should reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Yes, if I am outdoors So if we're like spending the day at the lake and we're outside, we reapply after 2 hours or after getting out of the water. You'll notice on some sunscreens that you buy, they may say something like water resistant. Sunscreen cannot be marketed as waterproof. It is not waterproof. It can be water resistant, not waterproof. So your sunscreen will say if it is water resistant up to 40 or 80 minutes. So if you're in the water and you're in the water longer than 40 or 80 minutes, you should get out and reapply. Personally, I feel like if you get out of the water, that's a good time you're toweling off to reapply anyways. So if you are at the beach, absolutely aim to reapply every 2 hours because you're in intense sun exposure. Do I reapply every 2 hours all day, every day? Heck no, I don't have time for that. I'm gonna be honest, like that just, it's not gonna happen. Personally, for me on a daily basis, the way I wear my sunscreen is I wear it in the morning, every single morning as part of my skincare routine. And then I go to work. At work, I'm indoors. Yes, I can be near some windows, but I'm usually just seeing patients indoors, hustle bustle throughout the day. If I leave for my lunch break, I reapply, or when I'm driving home for my commute, I reapply. And there's another step I do, which I'm going to show you in just a second. I don't want to ruin it just yet, but personally for me on a daily basis during the work week, I apply my sunscreen in the morning and then I reapply when I get back into my car. Somebody is saying, can you wear the oil one and go to the beach or will it make you burn? You can wear the oil one and go to the beach, but something I tell people is you can burn with sunscreen on, no matter the sunscreen. I think this is a really big myth. I wore sunscreen, how come I burned? Well, sunscreen is not perfect. It's just one of those factors. So if you wear a sunscreen and you go to the beach, other things you can do is stay in the shade when you can, obviously. You don't have to be like laying out on your towel. If you're laying out on your towel and tanning with sunscreen on, it's not good. It's not helpful. Just because you wore sunscreen doesn't make it a healthy tan. No tan is healthy. Obviously, we can only do so much, right? So you want to go at times when the sun is not going to be at its peak. That's where you can check the UV index on your weather app. It will share with you how high the UV index is, means how intense that sun exposure is. So if you look at your weather app and you see that the UV index is like 2 or 3, that's great. When it's like 8, 9, 10, that's more intense sun exposure. If you can stay in the shade, if you can wear sun protective clothing, if you can reapply, all of those are going to help you with preventing a burn. So yes, sunscreen is one of those aspects, but it's not everything. Someone is saying, is coats okay for acne prone or sensitive skin? Absolutely. This is a really nice product for sensitive or acne prone skin. I think you'll love it. Okay, let me keep going and then we'll keep answering the questions. Does sunscreen prevent new freckles and darkening of existing ones? Sunscreen can definitely help with darkening or making new freckles pop up, but freckles are gonna pop up especially with sun exposure. So if you're wearing sunscreen and you're laying out in the sun or sitting directly in the sun, you may still get freckles. So wearing a hat, seeking shade, all of those are extra steps that you can do. Okay, I wanna go to this, the Innerglow vitamins. I know it's only 3. This was our sample for the box. So usually we aim to have mostly full-size products because I actually want you guys to be able to try out the products. I think it's kind of silly when boxes just send a ton of samples. Like, how are you going to know if something really works for you? So I want you to have the chance to really try things. This was our sample for the box, and I am very passionate about these vitamins. So I just wanted you to be able to actually see what they look like, try to take them, and then also learn about them and give you a really good coupon code. So your pamphlet will tell you a little bit more about these vitamins, and then it'll also give you a 20% code. So I have my bottle here. So this is what the bottle looks like. It comes with 90 tablets. You're supposed to take 3 tablets a day. So this would technically be a 1-month supply. Now, some people, once they achieve their results, they do go down to taking less, like 2 tablets a day. I wouldn't recommend that until you've really achieved your results for a few months. So yes, hair vitamins, I don't care what anybody tells you. If you see results in a week or 2 weeks, that is some BS. It's not true. Don't listen to them. Run away. They're lying to you. Also really wanted to get these vitamins in because I want to throw up with the amount of hair vitamins on social media that are making ridiculous claims. And a lot of times my patients are taking them, and that makes me so mad because People spend tons of money on hair vitamins and they're full of crap. These are not. So that's why I was very passionate about putting these in the box. What do most hair vitamins contain? Most hair vitamins that you're going to find, especially these ones on the internet, we are not going to name names, but you know what I'm talking about, will have mega doses of biotin and selenium. So selenium is a really important nutrient for hair growth, but when you put too much of it, it can actually cause hair loss and hair shedding. Too much biotin is also not healthy for us. And on top of that, studies have shown that too much biotin actually can make your lab results, including labs for your thyroid, or if you're having a heart attack, look inaccurate. That is scary to me. So anytime someone is taking a ton of biotin, I tell them to chill out and stop doing it, because likely you're getting enough from your diet. But even if you're not, doing a hair supplement that has physiological levels of selenium and biotin like this one is much safer. So not only does it have that, you can actually see it lists all of the ingredients on here. And if you go on innerglowvitamins.com, you can learn about what's in their vitamins. But the hair, skin, and nail vitamins also has turmeric, which is an antioxidant, ashwagandha. It has saw palmetto, which is a very popular ingredient for regulating hormone imbalances. This is not something you take in pregnancy, and that is something we always put in our pamphlet. If it's something I don't think you should take in pregnancy, I usually tell people, obviously the commercial answer is like, refer to your doctor. But I also listed it here because I don't want any pregnant moms taking this. But I do think this is an awesome supplement. Should you want to supplement your hair growth, look into this stuff. It's also way cheaper than a lot of the crazy supplements out there that are just like really overhyped gummies. So that is my rant about social media vitamin gummies and why I think you should stop buying them and look into something with more legit research. In addition, this company has done peer-reviewed head-to-head studies, randomized control trials. They actually have legitimate data, real pictures, real photography, real patients. So I'm very impressed. It's dermatologist developed. It is halal, it's kosher, it's non-GMO, produced in the US, FDA approved factories. We are talking the real deal stuff. There's nothing scary in here. So that's the hair, skin, and nail vitamins. Hopefully you guys love that one. And the last thing, I think some of you guys were like really excited. Like, what is this huge product in my bag? This is the Sanibel Everyday Shawl from Coolibar. I think a lot of you already know my obsession with Coolibar as a company. I think they are just doing amazing stuff. I recommend them all the time to my patients because it is sun protective clothing. So UPF 50 clothing, that means ultraviolet protection factor of 50. This clothing blocks UV rays. So when you guys ask me like, well, I wore sunscreen and I still tanned, or I wore sunscreen and I still got a burn, these are other sun protective things you can be doing to protect yourself and your family. If you've seen my child at the beach, you know that I look like the psycho mom with her child in a full body Coolibar swimsuit. But it honestly makes my life so much easier because if you've ever tried to chase down a toddler and put sunscreen on them, you know it is a struggle. So I literally have my son in a full-on sun protective bodysuit from Coolibar, and I highly recommend you guys check those out because it just makes sun protection so much easier. Of course, I still apply sunscreen to his face and his hands and his feet, but that makes my life a lot easier, especially when it's time to reapply. This shawl, lots of ways you can use it. You can wrap it around your shoulders. You can put it over your arms when you're driving in your car, or over your lap if your skin is exposed. Obviously, you can put it on top of your head too. You can use it as a blanket for your baby. It's super lightweight and cooling, so it's not gonna make you hot. So that's why I feel like it's a good kind of travel shawl or a shawl for the beach or at the lake. This is my 5th or 6th Coolibar UPF item. I love that. I'm like a Coolibar diehard. And I actually brought one more thing to show you guys because you were asking me about how I do sun protection. These are, I made my husband go grab them from the car. These are my Coolibar driving gloves. So I was saying that in the morning I put on my sunscreen, and then I usually go to work, and then when it's time to get back into the car, I reapply sunscreen on my face. And then usually I'm wearing long sleeves, so I don't have to worry about my body, but I will put on my UPF 50 Coolibar driving gloves. And you know, your hands are at the steering wheel. This area gives away a lot of people's age because you get a ton of sun damage and sunspots here. So this is how I drive in my car, and I don't care what people think. This is how I like to drive. You can also get, they have like really nice long sleeves, like so like a full sleeve, or they just have like sleeves without the hands. So I like these products, especially for driving, especially if you drive in a ton of sun. So these are the Coolibar driving gloves. And if you have your brochure, you'll see that the inside of it will give you a 20% off code on coolibar.com for you to buy any other fun stuff. So I would recommend looking at the driving gloves or some of their swimwear. So I wear their swim shirts. They're ruched swim shirts. They're long sleeve, they're long, and they cover from the back, which I love. And then I also have their swim clothing for my kids. So yeah, that is everything in the box. My desk looks crazy. So let me answer a few questions before I hop off. Someone is saying, I love the box, but threw away the brochure. I would love the code for the vitamins. Feel free to send us an email at info@dermy.box, and we can check that you have a subscription with us, and we can resend you the brochure as a PDF so that you can have it on hand if you threw it away. No worries. Let's see what else is being said. Do you recommend a type of sunscreen for around the eyes? Great question. When people say sunscreen burns when they apply it around their eyes, I usually find that that is more of a chemical sunscreen issue. So of the three sunscreens, these ones are both mineral sunscreens, and I do use both of these around my eyes without issues. You will not have burning with them. I'd be pretty surprised if you experience burning around the eyes. Some people do like specific sunscreens specifically for the eyes, so you can find products like eye creams that also have an SPF in them. You want to just make sure it has an SPF but also says broad spectrum so that you're protecting against both UVA and UVB rays. What do you recommend for enlarged pores or cheeks and nose? Biore, I'm assuming those nose strips you're talking about never worked. That is a very lengthy question. I would recommend checking out my black and white post so you can read my post about enlarged pores, but it's a combination of both acids, retinoids, sunscreen, lots of things to just improve the overall appearance. I would also recommend some of the products that were in our spring box. You can shop our previous boxes. If you head to our page on the top part of the website, you can click shop and you can see previous boxes. So I believe we still have spring and winter boxes in stock. And then we also do have separate products for one-time purchase. And I know a lot of you guys will, like, for example, tell us you love a specific product. So we try to carry it on our site so that you can restock as much as possible. And that way, when you buy more than one, you get discounts for repurchasing. What kind of sunscreen do you use to reapply to the face, especially if you're wearing makeup? Great question. So if you're wearing makeup and you don't want to like put on a sunscreen over your makeup and ruin it, I would go for either a sunscreen brush, like a brush on sunscreen powder, or a sunscreen compact that also has like a tint for makeup. Those are probably the two I'd recommend. I do have a shop my shelf link in my profile, and I believe I have some linked on there. All right, so what's next? That's kind of one of the things I wanted to share with you guys. Obviously in October, we'll be releasing the fall box. I can't say what's in it yet, but I'm very excited, and we have a lot of really cool products to show you guys. In addition to the fall box, we are working on some one-off boxes. I know that you guys loved the 4-Mom box that we released. We released a limited amount of it, so there may or may not be another box coming after the fall box, so just stay tuned for that, and some really fun holiday stuff that we're also planning. I think this has been really fun to kind of do on the fly and learn as we go. Another thing we'll be doing is we're going to be attending a subscription box meeting, an annual meeting in September, to kind of learn from other people in our industry and just get a lot of tips and tricks and insights. There's been a ton of people that we've been connecting with, and just kind of honestly learning as we go. So we're really excited about that. And also, we're already forecasting into the 2022 year and what other exciting stuff we want to bring. You guys know that I'm very passionate about feedback because I know I'm not an expert in running a subscription box. And in fact, as you guys know, there's been tons of things we've done literally because you guys have told us you wanted to see it or because of the feedback you've provided. So if you feel really strongly about something in specific or want to give us feedback, just know that you can email us at any time to let us know, and we are more than excited to accept it. Hi, do you incorporate benzoyl peroxide wash with vitamin C, serum, and sunscreen? You can. It can be very irritating. I just think that benzoyl peroxide in general can be irritating for people, so you can absolutely do it if you're not irritated by it. Is the CoTZ sunscreen okay for working out? Is it sweat resistant? This sunscreen does not specifically say water resistant. So if you're working out and you're sweating, it can come off. Actually, neither of these sunscreens say water resistant. So for sweating activities, I would go with more of a sports sunscreen. Hope that helps. All right, any last minute questions? Otherwise, I'm gonna sign off for the day. That was kind of a long one, but we'll make sure to post this to our page here and also on our YouTube. So feel free to go to either of those if you want to rewatch. As always, I really appreciate your support. I appreciate everyone just believing in this from the start and kind of giving us all of this positive energy and positive vibes. Without you guys, this is nothing. So thank you again for your support. Thank you for always being here, and we cannot wait to show you what's next. I hope you guys love the summer box, and we'll be in touch soon. Take care.